It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update, as AEW are set to make a special announcement this week on Dynamite. Monday Night Raw sees one of the worst segments in WWE history. And we have an update regarding AEW's negotiations with Andrade. All that and more coming up in today's video, but first... This weekend, former AEW Women's Champion Hikaru Shida teased a quote restart after posting a photo of hair on the floor on social media. This week on AEW Dark Elevation, she debuted a brand new look whilst defeating Diamante in singles action on the show's main event. This was the first time fans have seen her since she lost the title at Double or Nothing last week, a loss which Shida has used as a catalyst for a change in character. And let me know what you think of Shida's fresh new look in the comments down below. And in other Hikaru Shida news, she topped the best sellers list on Ringside Collectibles this week after the AEW Unrivaled Series 6 action figure line went on sale. She topped Chris Jericho, who had a figure in the line released at the same time. This is pretty cool to see, as collectors of AEW merchandise have been asking for more female figures, with only Riho and Brandy Rhodes receiving a release up until this point. It's just a shame that the figure is now almost immediately out of date. This Thursday on Impact Wrestling, AEW President Tony Khan is scheduled to appear on the show to take part in what is being billed as the Impact AEW Summit. The heads of each promotion are going to meet in the ring to discuss the possibility of turning the Against All Odds main event into a triple threat. The match is currently booked to be Kenny Omega versus Moose for the Impact World title, but talks will be held as to whether Sami Callihan should be the third man. This follows last week's match between Sami and Moose, which ended in a no disqualification after the Good Brothers attacked Callihan. Scott D'Amore then told Don Callis that due to Callahan's victory over the number one contender, Tony Khan will be on the show next week to decide the fate of the Impact World title match between Omega and Moose. And if you're interested, you can purchase the upcoming Impact Against All Odds pay-per-view using my Fight affiliate link in the description below if you fancy supporting the channel. But let's get on with the next story. Last week on AEW Dynamite, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky challenged Darby Allin to a tag team match, but with one stipulation. Darby cannot choose Sting as his tag team partner. Of course, over the last few months, Sting and Darby have been closely aligned, often being seen together on screen since the Icon's debut in December. Page claimed that Allin owed all of his success to Sting and stated that he's nothing special. It has now been revealed that the tag match will take place this Friday on Dynamite, with the mystery partner set to be revealed. Sting and Allin managed to defeat Page and Sky at Double or Nothing last weekend, and it seems the feud is far from over. And who do you think the mystery partner should be? Let me know in the comments down below. Elsewhere on Dynamite, Cody Rhodes is scheduled to make a special announcement alongside Tony Schiavone this Friday night. Rhodes is coming off the back of a loss last week to Anthony Ogogo and QT Marshall in a tag match, with the American Nightmare being pinned by the latter. There is a lot of speculation as to what the announcement could be, with talks of it being related to his unborn baby with Brandy Rhodes, as well as a potential announcement regarding the upcoming AEW Rampage show. It could also be linked to his feud with Anthony Ogogo, maybe a match under boxing rules. Who knows, but we will find out this Friday. AEW's temporary move to late Friday nights seems to be continuing to have a negative effect on the Dynamite ratings, as 2 weeks in a row they have scored their lowest rating in history. Last week saw them drop close to 500,000 in the average viewership, and this week it only got worse. AEW Dynamite dropped a further 12.17% from Double or Nothing's Go Home show, drawing in an average of 462,000. Dynamite also dropped down in the 18 to 49 key demographic, going from a 0.20 to a 0.19, which is a 5% drop. As we know, Dynamite has been forced to move nights due to TNT broadcasting the NBA playoffs in AEW's usual slot, and it seems not all AEW fans are willing to change their Friday night schedules. AEW's NBA problems are set to continue for the rest of June, but the promotion is set to go back on the road on a weekly basis starting from July 7th, when hopefully all of this NBA nonsense has blown over. And quickly before we continue, make sure you scroll down and hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos as we head towards 20,000 subscribers. But now you've done that, let's get on with the video. On the 20th of June, WWE are set to host the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view live from the Thunderdome. Charlotte Flair vs Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's title, Bayley vs Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's title, and Drew McIntyre vs Bobby Lashley for the WWE title are all penciled in for the card. On last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, WWE held a contract signing for the WWE title match, which saw the challenger agree to a game-changing stipulation. If Drew McIntyre fails to capture the WWE Championship, he will no longer be able to challenge Lashley for the title again as long as he is champion. This will no doubt be a relief for WWE fans who have now seen Lashley versus Drew for the belt too many times to count. And to close the show, there was a segment between Alexa Bliss and Shayna Baszler, which saw Shayna running away from a doll before seemingly being killed by it. Yeah, it was one of the worst segments in WWE history, as this storyline seems to surpass rock bottom every single week. Last week, Andrade made his AEW debut, aligning with his new manager, Vicky Guerrero. We now have an update regarding his contract, and according to a report from Wrestling Inc., Andrade and AEW president Tony Khan met in Florida the same week that the Idol was released from WWE, with Khan keen to sign him up right away. After his release, Andrade confirmed that he did not have the usual 90-day non-compete clause, which allowed him to work wherever he wanted as soon as he wanted. Negotiations reportedly came to a standstill, with Andrade wanting creative control as well as a veto power on losing. He also asked to be able to work for other promotions. Andrade also held talks with Impact, who were willing to give him the creative control that he desired, but the two parties were unable to come to an agreement on the number of dates that he'd work. Impact also refused to give him a downside agreement, which would mean he would have only been paid per date without a minimum guarantee per year. Ring of Honor were also said to be interested, which is where Andrade's close friend Rush is the world champion, but of course nothing ever came of it. Regarding the AEW negotiations, it has been confirmed that the deal agreed last week does not include the creative control clause, meaning he will be required to lose when he's asked. Giving talent creative control and veto power would lead to several issues, so it's good to see that it was not included in the final deal. And before you go, make sure you check out my video where I predict 10 jumps between WWE and AEW in the next 5 years, where I successfully predicted Andrade to AEW.